Freeway 851, turn right heading 180. Order 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established 27.
Hey everyone, welcome back to DJ's Aviation. If you weren't aware, the US government is essentially currently going through a partial shutdown. While I try to steer clear of politics on the channel, the shutdown is extremely important in regards to the aviation industry. As much as I have tried to ignore it in the past, it's become quite the situation and one that honestly needs covering on the channel. So the backstory. The US government has been shut down now for the longest period in US history. At the time of recording this, it is day 26 of the shutdown, and for the past 3 weeks, negotiations have been frozen in place, essentially removing any hope of a solution being found. On Tuesday, the White House publicly acknowledged that this shutdown is inflicting a severe amount of damage to the US economy. However, our focus today is on the aviation industry. As you may be aware, just from watching the channel, aviation plays a big part in the United States. Not only does the country have a number of homegrown airlines operating internationally and domestically, but it has a staggering amount of international airlines as well, all operating in and out of the country. In fact, it is one of the few countries in the world where you can see airlines from almost every single corner of the globe at some airport. So it isn't too far-fetched to say a number of these airlines are struggling with the shutdown. The Delta CEO most recently said to CNBC that they would see a US $25 million loss in revenue due to this partial shutdown of the government. To give you some more numbers, the shutdown has left 800,000 federal workers working without pay or not working at all. However, as I have said, and I'm sure you've seen across many social media networks, the aviation industry has been crying out for the government to reopen and for negotiations to conclude with a positive outcome. This shutdown has left airlines seeing their new aircraft, which they expected to welcome soon, grounded. These airlines need federal officers to help sign off plans to welcome on a new aircraft, so naturally they can't welcome it at this point in time. Delta is delaying the launch of its new A220 jets from Airbus, purely because of this exact reason. Worse still, their new A330neo, which we've seen around the Airbus factory of late, could also be delayed should this problem persist for any longer. While most may see a delayed aircraft as not really a big deal, it is a huge one for airlines. Carriers like Delta and even the likes of United, Spirit, Southwest and American Airlines base their operations around when their aircraft are free. The introduction of new aircraft either helps ease pressure or goes hand in hand with fleet replacement plans. If this can't occur, the airline is stuck in limbo. American Airlines have seen 2 Boeing 737 MAX 8s sit in Oklahoma as they await delivery. That can't occur until the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, are back. The problems stretch though way past airlines and to airport, where we have seen several major airports within the United States face high amounts of pressure as the absentee rate of the TSA, or Transportation Security Administration, climbs. These are the people who help screen us before we board our flight. It's an extremely important part of aviation and helps prevent something occurring on the aircraft while we're in the air. With less workers, queues immediately rise and impatience grows from the passengers needing to get to their destination or back home. Having just actually been to the United States, thankfully I experienced a day where security were processing people fast. However, the alarming fact from that day was half the lanes were shut down. Had it been any busier, no doubt myself and others would have been waiting more than an hour to get through. However, that was getting out of the country. To get into the country, the wait was in excess of 2 hours, with multiple staff not working at the booths. The overall impact means that employees of, say, Delta are having to aid TSA staff who are still working unpaid in security, while also not impeding them. The TSA make up some 420,000 of federal employees who are deemed by at least Ed Bastian, the Delta CEO, absolutely necessary in daily life. Moving on to more important people within the aviation industry, air traffic controllers. They are also working now without pay. You may have seen their Canadian co-workers come into the news as they were kind enough to send pizza down to the States. A trainee said to the Washington Post, "It was a free-for-all, people going crazy and sending each other pizzas." It's a story which covers up the disgusting conditions that our air traffic controllers are still working in. The US government shutdown is also impacting other areas of the United States. However, as promised, this is an aviation channel. I want to stick to the aviation side of this, and in the comments I also ask that you try to as well. Share your thoughts if you want, however please try to do so in a respectful manner. I'm fully aware even making a video like this can of course cause controversy because the US government is in the title, but that's not what I'm trying to do at all. It's an important issue in our aviation industry and something that needs coverage and also discussion. So I'd like to thank you very much for tuning into this video of mine, and I do very much look forward to you all joining me, as always, in the next one.
Race all of these broken dreams in flight, and we'll fly.